Hello. Hi guys. Uh I know so far you've only seen me do misfits unboxings, but today I'm going to be doing some eating. Let me take care of some housekeeping first. My name's Angelia, and you have just joined me for Angelia's POV. There's some things that went through my mind this week based on everything that was happening in reality TV and social media. I took some notes. I'm going to try to discuss this while I eat some fried oysters, crab rice, steamed shrimp, corn on the cob, and hush puppies, and my sparkling water. I need some hot sauce. I'll be right back. I'm gonna give me some hot sauce, because I like hot sauce on my fried oysters. Hot sauce. That's what I like. I like hot sauce. Okay, back. And like I said, usually I do a Misfits unboxing, but today I believe I'm going to discuss a couple of topics, a couple of men who are out here in reality TV world, and one particular man that's on social media. And I'm going to try to do that while I eat. But once again, this is Angelia's POV. My point of view based off how I see things. If you would, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Like I said, I'm going to be eating some steamed shrimp, like garlic and other spices they put in there, crab rice, corn on the cob, fried oysters, with good old hot sauce. I don't keep hot sauce in my bag though. Keep it in the cabinet where it belongs for me. I ain't judging nobody. And hush puppies. Just got back from taking my first COVID shot. Trying to get vaccinated. Got a couple of weddings, including my own, that I'm trying to attend this year and have no issues. So, since I had to go get my vaccine, I said I might as well pick up me some good eats this Saturday since I'm by myself. My fiance has a track meet today. He said he might get back around 10 since he's out of town. So, I'm just going to feed me. I'm going to feed me and talk to you guys. He said, well, what is she going to try to talk about with her mouth all full? And sure you guys have heard for the last couple of years, possibly maybe even several months, about Kevin Samuels and his high value man. So I was thinking, perhaps his definition of high value man and my definition of a high value man are not the same. Because for me, when I think of a high value man, I think of a man that has values first and foremost. Character, dignity. He's respectful, trustworthy. And there are a lot of the traits that I think about a high value man. Yes, he is gainfully employed, if not independently wealthy, but that's not the only criteria that I would have to classify someone as a high value man. So I went back and I was like, let me look and see exactly what does Kevin Samuels detail as the characteristics of a high value man. And Kevin Samuel definition of a high value man is, I'm sorry, I know I'm eating him. I guess this would be a mukbang slash a conversation. We can call it our sad day combo. First off, money. This is Kevin Samuel's list, not my list. Money, first and foremost. That's $10K per month. And then you have to adjust the cost of living because the $10K is for Atlanta. And then you adjust accordingly to where you live. But approximately 10 grand a month. The length of time he makes his money has to be between 3 and 5 years of consistent earning of this at least 10 grand a month. A high value man has, by Kevin Samuel standards, has to be accepted by other high value men. So he has to be accepted by his peers. He has to have a network, which includes high value contacts and other high value men. He has to have some influence or be able to exert some influence or control. He calls it a book of business. And visibility. He has to be automatically seen as a high value man based off these criteria, pretty much. So you should be able to tell a high value man at a quick glance. If he gives you his business card, you should be able to look at the position he holds in this company that he either works for or owns, I guess. Utility. He has to have a usefulness to others and to his group. So, I mean, there's no doubt about it. We all know that Bill Gates would definitely be a high value man based off of Kevin Samuel's list. A high value man, presence and absence are both equally noticed, which means high value men are definitely recognized, appreciated, and missed if gone. You can't be a homeless, useless loner. He has to have a group of peers, has to have a book of business, has to have the bank, the coin, the money, the moolah, has to be consistent 3 to 5 years. And he has to be useful to others and has visibility. Now, I wrote down mine, which was pretty much like high value man is not afraid of commitment. He doesn't play games. He loves to put forth effort as it pertains to his woman. He makes sure that she's safe and protected. He enjoys pleasuring her in all ways, in the house and outside of the house, in the bedroom, outside of the bedroom. He dresses and grooms himself accordingly. Has a great conversation. He's positive. He's tidy. He's fun. And also, like I said, he has values. He has character, dignity. It'd be nice if he had humility. You know, just an all-around good guy who is gainfully employed or independently wealthy. But money isn't the first characteristic for me when I'm looking at a high value man. Does his finances fall into play? Of course. Who's out there looking to date a homeless guy? Not even Oprah. So, of course, he needs to be gainfully employed, but 6 figures a year, I mean, because I live in South Georgia, but he doesn't necessarily have to make 6 figures. I mean, as long as he is also cooperative, as long as he is also a leader, as long as he is also dependable, respectful, trustworthy, he provides, protects, honors his lady. To me, that would definitely be a high value man. But Kevin Samuels doesn't say anything about those traits. He doesn't say anything about a trustworthy man as far as a trait for him being high value. I didn't see him, let me say that, I didn't see him say anything about high value men being dependable or respectful or respectable. They just needed to have money, a group of peers, visibility, usefulness, and I believe accepted by his peers, high value men, and have a network and a book of business of high value people and high value men that's accepted by your peers, personal and professional. Bottom line. So I got to wondering, okay, that's his definition of a high value man. Now, he definitely makes it clear that to him, when he's talking about high value men to these women, he is not talking about actors, he is not talking about athletes, he's not talking about musicians. Okay. Because they money come different. But there are some quote unquote high value men by Kevin Samuels standards that have high visibility right now. That in my book, I'm like, are these high value men? They're not actors, they're on reality TV. But before they got to reality TV, based on his description, they would be high value men. You have Matt Barnes. I'm sorry, not Matt Barnes. I'm so sorry, Matt Barnes. You have Matt James from The Bachelor, this most recent season. You have Martell Hope from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And you have this guy named Chris from Married at First Sight, Chris and Paige. And of course, you cannot forget Derek Jackson. All of these guys would be considered high value men by Kevin Samuels standards. Are they high value by your standards? Let's talk about it. Let's see, you want to talk about it? Here we go. Matt James. Financially, I believe he was stable. Mentally, not so much. No, for me, a high value man, he can't be crazy. He can't be broken by his parents, and he hasn't dealt with that yet. I mean, we all have childhood trauma, I guess. Things that may have affected us, whether our parents realized it or not. Well, we have to get over it. This 28-year-old man was on TV crying almost half the season about his daddy and how his daddy and mama marriage was. How his daddy was unfaithful to his mother. And he didn't want to be anything like his father. I can respect that. But are you really so damaged that you picked the racist girl? The first biracial bachelor. And you picked the racist chick from North Georgia. Woo! I don't know if you high value, but you wouldn't meet my standard because you seem to have some psychological issues stemming from some type of childhood trauma and possible manipulation. I love these fried oysters and this crab rice and the shrimp, and I love it all. I love it all. This place is like 20 miles from my house, but it was right down the street from where I got my COVID shot. So, my COVID vaccine. I'm sorry, guys. So, would I consider Matt James high value? I would consider Matt James a work in progress. We all are, but he probably needed to do some work before he was on The Bachelor. And then he's back in the news because The Bachelor ended a couple of months ago. He's back in the news because he broke up with the racist girl, Rachel, from North Georgia, when everything came out. But they got back together and made the announcement last week. So, maybe they both will go to these antebellum themed parties. I mean, he is biracial. So maybe he can see it from both sides. I, however, am not and cannot. Martell Hope. Martell and Melanie on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Starting out several years ago, you probably couldn't have had a better picture perfect couple for the representation of black love and an intact black family. But, like our parents tell us, what's done in the dark will come to the light. Especially if you put a camera and millions of people into your marriage. Millions of people into your life. Those dirty little secrets gonna come out as he's did. And what came out resulted in Martell Hope in 2021 no longer being married and having a 5th child by the woman he had an affair with. Oh, and his wife. You know, I was talking slowly because I really didn't want to misstep and say the wrong thing, because like they say, all kids are a blessing. That baby ain't doing nothing wrong. So I didn't want to mess around and call the baby a side chick baby, or a side baby from the side chick. No. This is his 5th child. That's about a year younger than the last child he had with his wife. So obviously they have since divorced. She gave that man chance after chance. She knew before they started the TV show that he had a mistress or a girlfriend or whatever you like to call it. But like they all do, he claimed he was done, he was over it, he wasn't messing with her anymore. And then they started the show, and guess what came to light? He was still messing with her. Obviously, because he got her pregnant. Now, financially, he would fall in line with Kevin Samuel. The peers, the visibility, the network, the utility. But you're a cheating spouse that got an outside chick pregnant and subsequently lost her family and seem to have some financial issues now. Melanie don't seem to be able to skip the beat though. She got another house. I think it's bigger than the one they had. But she says because they have more, she has more children now. So she needed more room. Understandable. Girl, if you got it like that, get it, get it, get it. It's your dollar, spend how you like. Martell Hope. I don't believe his wife would say he was a high value man. But I will say this. When I was looking at Kevin Samuel's video the other day where he said high value men don't cheat, they exercise their options. options. Two things about that statement. A, I've always said men are as faithful as their options. The more money they got, the more options they got. The more visibility they have, the more options they have. And Kevin Samuels also said, just because you're a high value man doesn't mean you'll always be one. Your money could stay the same, but you cannot be an embarrassment to your peer group, or they may ostracize you. You can't be making outside babies. You can't have drama. You can't have chaos and scandal surrounding you because you're not as useful to your group, to your peers. So it is possible to get ostracized. I definitely think Martell Holt a couple of years ago may have been a high value man, family man, good father, possibly a good husband, a good provider, all that. But today, he probably should be ostracized by the group if he hasn't already been. They should put him out the group the same way she put him out that marriage. But, hey, at least he's claiming all the kids and he's there for the children. So he says. Melanie, not so much. But whatever. Chris. From Married at First Sight. Chris and Paige. I don't know what Chris does for a living. But he was able to go buy his expecting baby mama, his ex-fiancée, who happened to be pregnant with his child, a week into the filming of the show, a brand new Mercedes, because for no other reason than she was carrying his child and he didn't want her to be taking Uber or driving a raggedy car or low class car. Is that a high value man? He went on the show to get married. He seemed to be a pretty good provider based on his money, his finances. Married the girl Paige. And on their honeymoon, had sex with her, told her afterwards 2 times, night and morning. The next morning after they did it, told her he wasn't attracted to her. He was just trying to figure it out with sex. And then the next day, I believe, told her his ex-fiancée, who he had broken up with 3 months earlier, is now pregnant like 6 weeks. And they started the process like 8 weeks ago to cast and find and match these people. So he seemed to be playing games the whole show. But he definitely seemed to be vain, a narcissist, irresponsible, a liar, a manipulator, huge ego, anger management problems, maybe not all the way even in touch with reality. His sense of reality seemed to line up right there with his sense of morality. In my book, that's not a high value man. And I'm very sorry that from what I've seen on social media, that chick lost the baby. So, hopefully it happened the same way they said it was, but he's still hanging out with that girl that he bought the Mercedes for. And still seems to be playing mind games with the girl he married on the TV show from the previews of the final episode for the TV show. Not a high value man in my book. And Derek Jackson. I can't say if Derek Jackson's a high value man by Kevin Samuels standards. But what I can say is, although Kevin Samuels said high value men don't cheat, they exercise their options, he also said, but they should have disciplined sexuality. He called it dick, it wasn't dick control, it was dick something. Sexual discipline. He called it dick discipline. That's what it was. Which means, truthfully, if you're running around out here being a high value man, it was like 93% of your time should be spent on that. Only 7% of your time should be spent on females. And if you're married, that 7% should probably stay inside the house with your wife. Well, I can't say that's true for Derrick Jackson, huh? I listen to Tasha K. I think the only reason Derrick Jackson has left social media is because she got tired of taking the phone calls from the women, because it seemed like they would come out the woodworks on him. Every time he would make an apology or give an excuse or a timeline, somebody would pop up and say, no, I was with him last year. Yes, me and my wife went through something last year, but we dealt with it. We're no longer in that place. That's not a problem. Like, I was with him last week. I think she did an interview with at least 3 females. At least 3. It's definitely not dick discipline. It's not a sexual discipline. Now, me, my fiance have a difference of opinion when it comes to Kevin Samuels. I'm not saying everything the man says has no merit. I'm not saying that. I will speak about him the way I spoke to my children. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And the way he talks to people, baby, I cannot understand why those women continue to call into that show. He's rude. He's disrespectful. He likes to gloat. It feels like he's holding his audience hostage. Hey, if you guys don't hit the like button, I'm gonna play these awful sounds. Or I'll take the next caller. Pause. Once I get 30 people to Cash App me. Not Cash App. Super Chat. Same thing. Pay me my money. That's what he said on this particular one. Pay me my money. I'm not gonna feel bad because I'm good at what I do and I deserve to get compensated. 30 people, 25 people, 2,500 people in the room. At least 30 people need to super chat me if you want me to continue with the show. Like I said, sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And as a grown man, I'm certain he knows this, but it's more outrageous if he's rude, hang up on the women, make fun of them. So, I was told by someone, he's really just telling you guys the truth. These women want to be gold diggers, but they act like they don't understand if you have 1,000 men and only 1% of those men are classified as high value men, that's 10 men. For all the women that want high value men, there's 10 men who has a multitude of options. Of course he's going to want someone that's feminine, that's submissive, that's cooperative, that's fit, that's all the characteristics Kevin Samuels says women need to be if they want a high value man. He also got, apparently, based on this last, turn of events with Bill Gates, you also got to be willing to share. Not necessarily sexual, but just share. You don't have to share him with the world, with his community, with the good he's trying to do. And apparently, you might have to share him with the fact that he may be taking yearly trips with an ex. Because perhaps she satisfies something in his spirit that, in her spirit, that speaks to him that your spirit don't speak to that part of him, I guess. So, yes, baby, go ahead on. You go hang out with your ex that you was with before you married me. Once a year. Cool, stop. I guess 130 billion is a lot of stuff you do. I don't know. I can definitely say, by Kevin Samuel's standards, my baby probably would not be classified as a high value man based off the fact he's a teacher and a coach for public school systems, high school. He's not making $10,000 a month. No, he's stable in his career. He's done it for 27 years. He has visibility. He has the utility. He has the book of business and the peer group. But Kevin Samuels would not classify him as a high value man, but I value my man and I consider him to be a high value man. So far, he's proven to me to be very trustworthy, very dependable, very respectful, very respectable. He's well groomed. We can work on the tidy part, but you know, I'll just say this: I'm happy with mine. I would not want a Martell Holt type guy, Matt James type guy, a Chris from Marriage at First Sight type guy, Derek Jackson type guy. I'm happy with my fiance. He's high value in my book. And I just wish these women would definitely do some self-inventory and self-accountability before they start calling into Kevin Samuels. Because it seems to me like he really wants to just crush these women's hopes. You know, as a woman, by his standards, your value starts to decrease the moment you gain weight, have children, if you having children out of wedlock, age, and the more educated you are. Apparently, high value men don't want educated women. They want cooperative, fit, fine, and cooperative. Submissive. Someone's going to take care of the house, give him some babies, and cater to this man, and let him have his way. So, according to Kevin Samuels, you wasting time going to school if you want to, unless you're going to school to get a husband. But that degree, girl, stop. He says you're wasting your time with that degree. He says after 25, you need to be in expedited mode. You need to be in, gotta get this baby, gotta get this man to get him some babies now. Cause the older you are, the less likely you are to get that high value man. You need to be in a gym. You need to be young. You need to not have any children. And you definitely need to have the right personality. Because a high value man is not looking for a woman to match him in the finance department. He's looking basically for a woman to cater to all the things that he wants outside of his job, the house, the home. Not the house, he can buy the house. He's looking for you to make it into a home. He's looking for you to be his child bearer, give him some children, raise those children, cooperate with him in every sense of the word, I imagine. And that's just the price you pay if you want to be able to stay home with your kids, because most women are not able to do that and live a life of luxury. Like I said, there are plenty of good men out there. Ladies, there are plenty of good men out there. Do they meet Kevin Samuel's standard of a high value man? Maybe not. I'm pretty sure you know more men who don't fall in that category than you meet that do. But that doesn't mean that they're bad. I do think that women have a habit of falling in love with the potential. You know, that's fine and dandy. You could fall in love with a guy's potential at 20 in college, just graduating college, from 18 to 26. But by 26, you need to be looking at it realistically, as in, where is he now? And based on what he has laid down as a foundation, where is he likely to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years down the road? I just don't want women to lose hope. I don't want you to think if you're 40 with 2 kids, a couple of extra pounds, that all hope is lost. Nah, maybe you will, maybe you won't. I don't know. Go out there and catch a million now, or 100,000 now, if that's a word. But you could definitely get a man of high value. Maybe he's not a high value man, according to Kevin Samuels, but you could definitely get a man of high value, high standards, high morals. You can get it. You know how? Because I'm in my 40s and I have 2 children by my previous relationship that lasted over 20 years. I would not put them in the same category. My kid's father, my son's father versus my fiance, those 2 men would never meet were it not for they both know me. And they still haven't met yet, and it's been 3 years. Luckily, my sons are grown, they're in their 20s, but not the same. Not the same. I mean, he's advising these women to get married as early as possible out of high school, basically, and start a family. And, you know, obviously they're going to have to marry older, because the high value man is not going to be your age. If you're 20, he's not going to be high value at 20. He hasn't been working long enough to be making that kind of money. So you're going to be 20 marrying a 40-year-old. Maybe that works for people. Maybe not. I don't know. All I know is when I was 20, what I wanted at 20, I didn't get it. I'll say that. What I wanted at 20, I did not get it. But I did not get it because I did not know how to go about getting it. I was not deliberate in my decisions. In my 40s, it's very deliberate. Very deliberate. And very happy that I didn't make that mistake of marrying the guy I had kids with in my 20s. Because I wholeheartedly think that we would have been divorced by now, and possibly I still would be with my fiance. But I just want to be scarred from that marriage that didn't work. You know, would I consider my children's father to be a high value guy? And I say guy because to me, to be a man is a whole different set of criteria. I mean, is he a high value male or a high value guy or a high value dude? No, not in the least. Was he high value in his 20s? No. He was sufficient in his 20s for a 20-year-old. He was sufficient at 18 for an 18-year-old. High value? No. Did he develop into that high value guy? No. Now we're both in our late 40s and he's still not there. It's neither here nor there. I'm just saying. The high value man. Obviously, there's different criteria from different people to classify a person as a high value man. Kevin Samuel says he didn't make up this term. It's been around since the 80s. And that's fine. I've never been a person to chase money or a gold digger or a delusional female. But I know value when I see it. And I see it every day. He may not be making 120,000 plus a year. But I'm able to not have to be stressed about a job because I do have sickle cell anemia, and we things could definitely be better. But like I tell people, things could also be worse. So I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with my life. I'm satisfied with my fiance. I would not be satisfied with a high value man based off Kevin Samuel's description of a high value man. But I'm definitely satisfied with my description of a high value man. You know, I think I've said enough, and my food is sufficiently cold. I'm probably gonna stop this video, finish my food, take some Tylenol because my mom, who's a retired nurse, said I probably should take some to make sure I don't have no issues with this shot as far as soreness in the arm, and wait on my baby to get home tonight. So guys, hope you're having a good weekend, and whatever you think a high value individual is, don't let no one else on social media or in your peer group or your family dissuade you from that opinion. I think as long as you're realistic, you got a right to have a preference and seek it out. I'm not telling nobody be no gold digger, but I think we all have preferences. You know, I was talking to someone the other day where I said, people look down on the woman for preferring a guy to have certain financial stability. But who's talking to the guys about requiring the women to be visually appealing on sight? No accounting for her personality, no accounting for if she's responsible, respectable, respectful, trustworthy, if she has dignity, if she has any morals or values. No, as long as she got a pretty smile, a pretty, a pretty face, a thin waist, and a fat butt, they good to go. It's a double standard. It's okay to have a preference. It's okay to have a preference. I'm 5'9.5", and I have an illness. Know what that means? I have a preference. Just is what it is. There are people in my past I would not date because they did not meet my preference. And likewise, there are people that did not date me, I'm sure, because I was not what they preferred. And it's okay. You ain't got to be everybody's cup of tea. But when you find that right one that like the flavor of tea you serving, girl, sip slow and enjoy. Allow them to slip slowly with you and enjoy each other. Don't get hung up on these people on social media telling you what you gotta be to get who you want to get. Make sure you're good. Do what you need to do for you. And when Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now or Mr. Forever comes along, you'll be ready for him. You'll be ready for him. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But don't let them tell you something is wrong with that. Like I said, I'm fixing to go. I just want to hop on here as quick as I could and discuss this whole notion of the high value man and what that looks like, because I'm telling you, if it looked like these men that are on TV now who seem to be having so many issues in their personal life, in their psyche, in their pants, I don't see the value in those men, but I see the value in my man. And as long as you see the value in the man that you choose or that chooses you, Don't worry about what nobody on social media say. Don't worry about what no Kevin Samuels, no Joe Budden, no. Don't worry about what none of them say. Just know the same way men have a preference, women have a preference, and it's okay to have a preference. Just don't be that woman that make a list that's got 138 things on it and you trying to check off 130 to find your perfect man. Be realistic. Be deliberate and concise and realistic in the things that you want. And it's okay to pray about it. It is. Because God knows, between my last relationship, real relationship, not the period of time where I was single and dating, but I was in a relationship for 20 years, and then I was actually single and dating for about 5. Toward the end of at the beginning of the 5, I didn't want to be in a relationship, and at the end of the 5, I was just single. I wasn't even dating, and I had a conversation with the Most High, and I was like, look, I'm ready, and this is what I would like. These are my deliberate things that I would prefer in a mate. And everything I said I wanted, I got. And he found me. I didn't have to find him. I ain't telling you to just stay in the house and be a hermit. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about heaven sent or God sent or fate or what they call it, serendipity, or a God wink, or whatever you want to call it, all I know is I call it my baby, my fiance, my soon-to-be husband. I call it happy. That's what I call it. I call it happy. I tell all my friends, there's not an age where you're supposed to get married. There's a time that you're supposed to get married. You know when that period of time is? When you're happy. If you're happy with your situation, you happy with that person, you happy with your life, y'all's life, the two of you together in your life, you're happy what that person brings to your life, and he's happy with what you're bringing to his. Happiness. Tell people all the time, happiness is a choice. Choose happy. Don't be running out here trying to choose, I need to get married by 30. I need to be having babies before 45. I need to get a man that's making 6 figures, $358,000 a year, because that's what my daddy made, and I need to marry somebody that's making that. You know, like Kevin Samuel said, this I do agree with. The more high value the guy you're chasing, the more you will sacrifice and share that guy. Because people, not men, but people are as faithful as their options most times. Not all people, not all the time, but most of the time, they're as faithful as their options. The more visibility and money that he has, the more options that he has, the more issues y'all may come across. So I think my baby had a lot of options. I mean, had a lot of visibility. When I met him, he was the head coach of a football program, and he was single. And we both have grown sons. My sons are in their 20s, and so is his son. So you can definitely have a preference, and you deserve to have a preference. And it can definitely work out for you. It can work out for you at 25, 35, 45. It could work out for you. Don't get discouraged. And don't get misled by what a high value man is. A lot of these guys are not men. A lot of these guys are just males. They were born with the male body part to classify them as male. But to be a man, that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. Maybe that'll be the next this video? I don't know. But what I do know is I'm finna finish eating. So please like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel, Angelia's POV. And next time, I'll see you guys next time. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, put it in the comments. Like I said, we can create this channel together. You guys can cultivate what you want to see me do. Not a problem. I'm okay with that. So I'll get back to eating this Saturday, and I'll let you guys get back to enjoying your weekend.